This is BC and Bear Creek Network, and I am Nico Lahu. Right here is Chef Uncle Patrick.
Hey guys.
He is here to teach us about kitchen and food handling safety. Good day, Uncle Patrick. Where do we begin?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that cooking in the kitchen can be something enjoyable for the whole family, but there's some precautions that you have to take.
Okay, so where do we start?
Well, let's start talking about hand washing and food contamination.
I wash my hands like twice a day.
Well, that's not enough when you're cooking because you're going to be handling a lot of different proteins, a lot of different food items, and you don't want to cross-contaminate or what we call food contamination.
What's cross-contamination or food contamination?
Food contamination is when you're working with a certain protein. For example, let's use chicken right here. Okay, we've got raw chicken on a cutting board, okay, and I'm going to cut this chicken up. Okay, we're going to cook this in a later date. We're going to use this evening, but right now, if I take this lettuce, and we're going to use this for a salad tonight and start chopping it, I've just chopped lettuce right over the chicken juice. And I know you don't want chicken juice on your salad, do you?
No, thank you.
Okay. So it's very important that after you handle everything in the kitchen, whether it's raw meat, raw chicken, whatever the case is, you always have to wash your hands. And you should wash your hands under warm water with soap for at least 20 seconds.
So what about the cutting board?
Well, in the restaurant industry, you basically have 4 different types of cutting boards. They're all color-coded. You've got red, yellow, green, and white. Red is for meats, yellow is for poultry, as in chicken. You've got white for breads and everything, and then the green is naturally for all the vegetables. But let's say you've only got one cutting board. What you would do is you would wash it off in the sink, and then with a couple 3 or 4 drops of bleach in bleach water, just take a rag, wipe it down. That way you're not going to spread any bacteria or unnecessary proteins and cross-contaminate your food. It's also important, after you wash your cutting board, to wash your knife or whatever utensil you're using. And you can do it the same way, using a little bit of bleach water. That way there's no germs or any bacteria on the knife as well as the cutting board.
So what else can we talk about regarding kitchen safety?
Well, there's a lot, but I think the first thing we should talk about is cleanliness. It's very important that you clean as you go. You don't want a cluttered up kitchen because a lot of accidents can happen. Nico, this is a perfect example of a cluttered up kitchen. You've got to clean as you go. These are very dangerous, handles sticking out. You've got everything scattered around here, and it can be very dangerous.
Well, isn't that knife dangerous there too?
Exactly. Great point that you just made. As I'm moving pots and pans around, this knife, it could actually slip out of my hand and drop on the floor and cut your toes off.
Well, that's a good reminder because I'm not wearing any shoes. Now the kitchen is clean and the clutter is gone. What is the next step to kitchen safety?
I'm glad you asked that because with a lot of people in the kitchen, it can be dangerous sometimes. Say I'm cooking and I'm finished cooking right here on the stove and I want to take this dinner and put it on the plate and
oh, that's one big burn!
That's why it's very, very important to have good communication in the kitchen. You've got to let everybody know where you're at. One way to avoid this accident is simply say, "Excuse me, I'm walking behind you." That way, I'm not blindly turning over and burning somebody.
Thank you, Uncle Patrick, for showing us kitchens and food handling safety tips. By the way, he's my real uncle. On behalf of BC and thank you, Uncle Patrick, this is Nico Lahu reporting live from our kitchen. Goodbye. So tell us about cross-contamination.
Well, food cross-contamination is very, very important in the kitchen. You never want to handle chicken and then say cut lettuce afterwards because you're going to contaminate that lettuce with chicken. And you could get salmonella and poison your family, and then you'd end up in an orphanage with no shoes on.